Let me ask you a question really quick. Who likes to go to job interviews? Nobody. Don't you wish you were the interviewer and not the interviewee? Guess what? Tonight is your night. Tonight, we are going to show you how to find a real estate agent, interview a real estate agent, and pick a real estate agent to help you find your dream home. What's going on, guys? My name is Minh with What's a Mortgage. Welcome to our channel. The goal of our channel is to educate, empower, and to connect you with the right mortgage. I am your host. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If it's your first time tuning in, do me a favor, hit the notification button so you're notified every time we go live or post new content. We go live Mondays and Wednesdays on Facebook, Tuesdays and Thursdays on Instagram at 9 p.m. Also, guys, if it's your first time tuning in, do me a favor, interact. If you have questions, we have answers. Do not leave this channel or this live stream without getting your questions answered. Also, guys, if I do bring you any benefit, do me a favor, hit the like and share button. If you're buying a home and the person sitting with you or the person buying the house with you is not sitting there, please tag them on this video. Tag a coworker, tag a friend, tag anybody that you know that this information would be useful to them. How you guys doing tonight? It's my first time at my house. If you guys haven't been watching me, this is my 3-year journey on social media doing mortgages. Started June 2017. I started off at my house in Tustin, which I ended up losing. And then we were in our Anaheim office. And then we went to WeWork in Irvine. Carlos Velasquez, thank you so much for keeping the doors open for me. And then we went to Orange. Thank you, Adrian Lopez. Then back to Irvine. We've been bounced around from place to place, and I'm finally at my house, at my studio. I am so excited. That was one great thing that happened today. Of course, my son took his first test in kindergarten and got 5 out of 5. All right, guys. So welcome, guys. Hopefully you guys got to meet me, understand my personality. Just know that this is going to be laid back. This is going to be fun. And hopefully you guys understand what's a mortgage. So let's get into it, guys. Tonight, it is Phase 2 of home ownership. If you have not checked out my Phase 1 yet, definitely check it out. It's on how to find the right lender, how to get qualified correctly, how to shop your mortgage. Once your mortgage is shopped, once your loan has been approved, the next step is Phase 2, finding that real estate agent. There's 5 stages of home ownership. Hopefully you stay with us in the next couple weeks so you can watch the rest of the other 3 videos, right? Today is Phase 2, finding a realtor. Let's get into it, okay? So, how do you find a realtor? Before you pick a realtor, these are the things you want to definitely pay attention to. You want to make sure you understand the different types of real estate agents. Then the questions to ask that real estate agent so you can interview them. Remember, you're the employer now. You got the power, right? And then understanding real estate agent commission, right? Are you paying or is the seller paying? Who's paying, right? Also, how to use a home search correctly. Don't you wonder, like, how are these realtors finding homes that I can't find? Or how is my friend sending me pictures of homes that I can't find on Zillow? Tonight, we're going to show you how to use a home search correctly. And last but not least, it goes through everyone's mind. Should you use the selling agent as your real estate agent as well? Is it a good idea? Is it not? Or should you go with the agent that you interviewed? Tonight, we're going to answer all those questions. So let's get into the types of real estate agent that there are out there. So there's 2 types of agents. There is a buyer's agent and there's a seller's agent. Was it the same thing? No, they're not. And I'm going to break that down to you. So when you're buying a house, you are going to use someone called a buyer's agent. That agent is there to represent you and help you find the home, negotiate the home, and get the home into escrow. A seller agent represents the seller to sell the property to a buyer. They're 2 different roles. They're both real estate agents. It can be the same one, but would you want someone to be the jack of all trades or the master of one, which is whatever situation you're in, if you're buying or if you're selling. If you're buying a house, remember that agent who is a buyer's agent is used to showing people multiple properties, going in, asking, bidding. You're also competing as a buyer's agent, not just against the seller to try to wrestle up a great deal for you. They're also competing against other buyer agents and other buyers to make sure you get your offer accepted. There's a patience that comes with being a buyer agent because what happens if your offer doesn't get accepted? Right? You're looking and then you can't make up your mind. You need a buyer's agent that can close you on, hey, especially as first time home buyers, you're very indecisive. You need an agent to maintain your sanity, also to help you make a decision should you buy it or not. See, they're a lot different. They're always asking, so they have a different type of mindset. A seller's agent is like the girl that always goes to prom, the girl that always is prom queen, right? They always get asked. Don't forget, you're listing the property, you're dealing with everyone writing offers, and you're deciding which offer is the best for your seller, right? Who's got the highest offer? Who can come in with the difference of the money, especially in the seller's market? Who's not asking for closing costs? Who's got a real loan approval? They're sniffing out, I call it ghost farts, right? You smell it, but you never see it. A selling agent has a specific skill, which is a lot different. They're not selling, they're weeding out. As a buyer's agent, you are always selling something, right? So, because of that, when you decide you want to buy a house, you want to make sure you're working with a dedicated buyer's agent, not a buyer agent, seller agent, mostly sells. If they're mostly buyer agents, then they deal with buyers so consistently, they understand how to deal with you. All right. So, understand before you pick an agent, you have to understand, are they a buyer's agent or are they a seller's agent? Once you figure that out, the next step, right? What company do they work at, right? What company do they work at? So, do they work for a big brand company or do they work for a boutique brand? When I say big brand company, I'm talking about Remax, right? I'm talking about Keller Williams. I'm talking about Century 21, right? I'm talking about First Team. If I didn't mention your company, I do apologize. But those are the main ones that I remember on the top of my head. And then there's boutique brands, right? Which is owned by an individual person that might have a couple branches or just one branch. Okay. So the difference with these big brands, what I like about big brands, they got big pockets and they got big lawyers. God forbid anything happens after you buy a house, during when you buy a house, anything that happens, they got lawyers to protect you. So if you're buying a home, especially if you're going to start buying stuff in the millions, liens pop up, other issues, right? They didn't tell you about this, they didn't tell you about that. You need someone with deep pockets, with lawyers. God forbid the broker doesn't know what to do. At least there's a corporate company, a corporate entity to talk to make sure you get your problem solved. So that's what I like about the big brands. What I like about the little brands, well, the little brands or the boutique branches, they don't pay corporate fees. They don't have to pay money to the corporation. So a lot of times when you're buying a house and you need a little wiggle room with people with extra money, the boutique brand has a higher chance to help you with a home warranty, help you cover this, help you cover that. So if you need extra money on wiggle room in with the boutique brand, you have a higher chance to wiggle around. Typically, because of the franchise fees on the bigger brands, they don't wiggle around that much. They can, but a lot of times they try not to because they don't have that wiggle room. So they both have their pros and they both have their cons. Okay, but you got to figure out what's best for you. Do you need someone to represent you if something goes sideways? Yes, these smaller brands, they have E&O insurance. I'm sure they have a way to solve these issues. But if you're buying a home and let's say something happens, the bigger brand, they got lawyers on deck, right? Just to deal with your problem. So that's why I like the big brands. But if you know what you're doing, you got the money, you can lawyer up, and you just want a good deal, I like the boutique. So it all depends on which direction you want to go. Okay. So when you're out there, now know first, is it a buyer's agent or seller's agent? Then what company do they work at? You're probably asking me, how about Zillow? How about Redfin? We got an answer for that as well. Okay. So let's talk about Zillow, Redfins, and everyone's talking about these I buy companies. Okay. if you're selling a house, we're talking about iBuy in a second. So if you're dealing with Zillow, okay, Zillow or Redfin, Homes.com, Realtor.com, a lot of these home searches, there's three business models they fall after. They fall through. They go after, right? Business model number one, they sell your name, your phone number, your information to the highest bidder of that zip code or area, right? So when you go on these home searches and you're clicking the realtors you're talking to, those realtors are buying your information. They're buying your clicks. Okay? So when they're buying your clicks, that information that you have goes directly to them. If you see a realtor pop up pretty frequently in that area, most likely they have a buyer's team, right? They run the real estate like a business, not like an emotion. So when you call them, they'll transfer somebody, you'll deal with their buyer's agent. Not saying it's a bad thing, but you should know what you're getting into when you're clicking that person's name. That's model number one. They sell your information off. Model number two, they have a split with the brokerage, a finder's fee. Let's say you're with Zillow or Redfin, they give it to a realtor and they take either 20% or 30%, and then your realtor makes the rest. Sometimes out of your 20 and 30%, some of it's going back to you towards your closing costs. Redfin does it all the time. So that's model number two. Model number three, they have salary real estate agents. That's the only model I do not like. When you talk to a realtor, ask them, are you a salary real estate agent, or is Zillow giving you a certain split, or did you buy my name and number? It's okay if they did that, but I do not like it when they're on salary. If they're on salary, there's no skin in the game. If you find the house or don't find the house, if they negotiate a great deal or not, they still get their paycheck. So you want to make sure if you're going to go on Zillow, Redfin, or any of these platforms and you're picking a realtor, that realtor calls you, find out do they fall under model number one, they just sold your name, phone number, email. I'm like, I would be, if you bought my name, phone number, and email, and I'm going to use you, I want the $150 that they paid you for my name, phone number, and email, right? Every dollar counts. Number two, is it a split, right? If it's a split, typically Redfin, Zillow, they'll give you a discount on something. Or number three, is a salary real estate agent showing you around. It's a professional Uber driver helping you find houses, okay? So once you figure that out, then you can decide, once you pick a platform, if you decide to go online, that's what you should be expecting. Last but not least, iBuy. So these iBuy means Redfin, Zillow, these offer pads. What they're doing, they don't want you to know, is they're buying your house at a discount for you not listing it. Yes, they say that real estate agents fees are a little bit higher. They're selling to you at a discount because they have to resell it again. That's why they can't have crazy fees, because they have to sell to you at a discount so they can take your property and then they have to sell it. When they sell it, they got to pay title again. They have to pay escrow again. They have to pay the buyer's agent as well. And also, remember, they're not working for free, so they got to make some margin. So be careful. If you have a nice home, and it's a seller's market right now, and your house can sell like that, why sell it at a discount? Unless your house is trash and it can't be sold to somebody that can move in right away, then yeah, I understand why you would sell it to iBuy. But if you have a perfectly normal home, unless you need the cash that bad, I would be patient. I would run the numbers with the iBuy, run the numbers with an agent, then make the best decision for you and your family. Remember, cash is king, and you want to minimize your out-of-pocket expense and maximize your monthly savings. So now that we decided on what type of agent you're going to deal with, we decided on the where they work, right? The next thing is the questions. What do you ask these agents, right? So what do you ask these agents? So this is what I want you to think of, right? This is the first set of questions. You want to make sure they're licensed. Then you want to make sure if they're a buyer's agent or seller's agent, then you want to make sure when they can show you houses. I'm going to tell you in just a second. And then last but not least, are they the ones really showing you the house? Like I said, sometimes when you're working with these bigger teams, they have their buyer's agent show you houses. So let's get into license. You want to make sure they're licensed. Why is it important that they're licensed? You want to make sure that someone is obligated if something goes wrong. If they're not licensed, cut them. Enough of these knuckleheads. You want to make sure they're licensed. So if something goes wrong, someone is liable. So make sure there's license. That's number one. And make sure that license is active. It's not just a license on their business card, but then when you look it up, it's not active. Make sure it's active, okay? Number two, you want to see if they're a buyer's agent or a seller's agent. If they tell you they do both, you're going to want proof. I'll go to that in a second, right? But you want to make sure, hey, I'm buying a house. I want the best buyer's agent possible. I'm selling the house. I want to maximize my dollar. Remember, are they a buyer's agent or seller's agent? Most of the time, they'll tell you both. I would go, okay, you sell both. What do you do mainly? Then they'll go, okay, I'm a buyer's agent or I'm a seller's agent. They're always trying to keep the commission and make money. But remember, this is the biggest investment you're going to make in your life. You want the best of the best that specialize in what you want, right? Which is buying. You're selling, you want the best of the best selling your house as well. So remember these things when you're asking these questions. They're always going to say everything, but really dig deep so you can find out the truth, okay? The third one, this is what happens all the time, especially in the seller's market. Find out their availability to show houses. You want to know, do you show houses on the weekdays or weekends and in the daytime or nighttime? Why is that important? You don't want to tell them, oh, this is my availability. They'll say yes, but most likely they can't do it. The reason why they say yes, remember, they don't want to say no to the business. So you want to ask them their schedule. Why is that? Yes, they'll try to get a babysitter or get someone to help them with something that they can't get to so they can get to you. But a lot of times, if they can't make it and you can't go see houses, someone else is going to go and see that house and write that offer on that house that was supposed to be yours. So you make sure, I'm not saying anything bad about that realtor, make sure they work around your time. So find out their schedule first. Make sure it meets your schedule before you agree to start working with them. Okay? Make sure they're licensed. Know if they're a buyer's agent or a seller's agent. Then make sure they work around your schedule, right? And then if you're dealing with a big time agent, what you want to ask is, are you the one showing me houses? If it's not you, that's fine. At least let me know who's really showing me houses so I know who I'm dealing with. I see a lot of consumers confused. Well, this is supposed to be my agent, but then I'm dealing with their so and so, right? If you are, that's fine, but they should be upfront with you. So these are the first four questions you definitely want to ask and have answers to before you decide should you go with this realtor or not. Okay. The next question, the next four questions: do they own real estate? And if you're buying investment, do they own investment property? Have they flipped property before? And how many transactions have they done year to date? So the reason why it's important that they own a house, I'm not saying that they can't be good negotiators. I'm not saying that they cannot wheel and deal for you. But when they own a house, there's a certain empathy that they have for you, right? My wife taught me one thing. I just wish, men, that you have empathy as a mom, as a wife, you know. So that's why I learned, for me to understand, I have to have empathy. So it's easier to have empathy when they own a house. When you're going through the motion and you're going through some traumatic time, oh my God, should I buy? Should I not? Should I back out? Oh my gosh, they're not getting back to me, right? There's a patience that comes with someone who's already a homeowner. So if they own a home, first of all, they believe in the product and they will know how to deal with you on a day to day and not treat you like a transaction. More like, hey, I understand. I went through it. Even if you own a home as a real estate agent and it's your business, trust me, the emotions you go through to get that home, an experience that you will never experience if you don't own a home. So definitely ask them, do you own a home? Another question: if you're an investor, you want to make sure they also have investment properties or bought investment properties. They should know about capital gains, 1031 exchange, the Burr method, right? Hard money loans. There's certain things, ROI, there's certain things you want them to know. If you are buying an investment property, don't just hire a realtor who's your friend, and don't hire a realtor who just knows how to show you houses. You want someone who knows how to minimize your out of pocket expense and maximize your monthly savings. Another question: have they flipped property? And I'm telling you right now, people, oh man, that's messed up because I don't flip property. Guess what? Go flip with one of your coworkers at your company if you haven't flipped property before. Why is it important that you flip property? Because you know how to cure things that's wrong in the house. If you're not buying a new build, there's always something going down with the house. You need someone that understands the cost to cure so they can ask for discounts, ask for it to get fixed, or they know, hey, if you buy this house, this is your additional out of pocket. Perfect story for you, right? I had a buyer that had their own realtor. It was her sister. and she couldn't sleep all night. It was in escrow, and she backed out. And I asked her, "Why'd you back out?" Because my sister told me there's termite issues. I see this termite report, and it was just going to cost too much money, so I decided to back out. What happens when she backed out? Someone else bought the property, knew there was termite issues, asked for a discount. They sold the property $20,000 cheaper because the seller needed to go. Come to find out, it cost only $2,000 to cure that termite issue. So for 2,000 bucks, she gave up on she would have gotten the $18,000 in equity, right? Or $18,000 discount. Remember, guys, make sure they know a lot about flipping property. They flip property. They've done something in construction where they know how to cure something if something goes wrong. Last but not least, you want to make sure, how many transactions have you done this year? Right? Especially if they say, I do both, I'm a seller and buyer's agent. Let me see your transaction. The seller agent might have like 10 listings and then 2 buys, right? Or buyer agent might have 10 buys and 1 listing, right? If you're listing a house, you want the best of the best. You want to maximize your dollar, right? When you have a house and you're selling it, you're in control. So how many transactions have they done, right? If they're doing at least 1 transaction a month, you know they're doing a good job and someone likes them. If someone likes them, you will like them. If someone else doesn't like them, guess what? You are not going to like them either. So find out how many transactions year to date. Of course, you start January, February, you want to see last year's number, right? But definitely find out, ask for the copy of them. Say, hey, I know I'm buying a house for 600,000, and I know the average commission is about 2 to 2.5%. So I know you're going to make at least $12,000 to $15,000. I want to see you're going to represent me to the best of your ability because of all that money you're making. And I want proof of it so I know I'm in good hands. So definitely, these are the questions you want to ask before picking any realtor. But now that you've picked the realtor, you've identified what type of realtor, right? You've identified where to find them. You've asked them the questions. Next thing is, people always wonder, who's going to pay their commission, right? Who's going to pay the real estate agent commission? So with real estate agent commission, there's 2 sides. There's the buyer side, and then there's the seller side, right? So who pays? Not you if you're the buyer. It's the seller pays. The seller pays both commissions. They pay the seller side, and they pay the buyer agent commission that's going to bring the buyer. Typical commission is between 4% to 6%. It all depends on where the market's at. Some realtors split it 50-50. Sometimes the selling agent wants to keep more or keep less so they can find so they can be more attractive to more buyers agent and bring buyers. But that's who pays commission, right? It's the seller. Rarely, but it does happen. Rarely does the buyer pays the commission. Most of the times, the seller pays the commission and they pay both sides. So if you're buying, you're in luck. If you're selling, don't forget, when you buy, you're not paying that commission. So once you know now, right, you always reiterate again, right? You know the type of agents, where to find them, how to interview them. Now you know how they make their money. You can be like, whoo, at least I'm not paying the commission. Now you feel safe out there looking for a home, right? You're already spending money for your down payment, closing costs, your impounds. The last thing you want to stress about is the real estate commission, okay? So now, are we breathing? Are we breathing? We're breathing, right? You're not paying the commission. Now that we've decided that, the next thing, the main part before we go to phase 3 is the home search, right? So the home search. So you need to understand what's an IDX, an information internet data exchange. What is the MLS, the multiple listing services? And then we're going to go with Zillow's home search, which is versus your local agent's home search. Okay. So what's an IDX, right? So an IDX is pretty much a home search. So when you go on Zillow, Redfin, you talk to your realtor, you're on a home search. All home searches are called IDX. Okay, you're using this home search to pretty much pan for gold, right? Look for your house, right? Are all home searches treated the same? No, and I'll go over that in just a second. And then there's the MLS. What the MLS does is when a real estate agent gets a new listing, they upload it to the MLS, the multiple listing service, and it goes on all these IDXs. It goes to Redfin, Zillow, Homes.com, Realtor.com. It goes to all your real estate agents' home searches that you can look at. So they upload to the MLS and it goes to all these IDXs, right? But these IDXs also pick up homes that are about to go into foreclosure, homes that haven't gone into foreclosure. Sometimes these other IDXs they don't update fast enough, right? The ones that update the quickest are the real estate agents IDX. They're accurate. The reason why all these other platforms, they need houses on there that shouldn't be on there. It's called clickbait. You ever go on Zillow or Redfin and you look up that property, it's never being really sold, but they're trying to get you to go on there and click the names of these realtors to see it. Because every time you click, 110 bucks, 150 bucks, depending on the area, 100 something bucks. So trust me, if the property is insane, it might take a little while to turn to pending, right? A little while to turn to sold. The longer it sits in for sale, the more clickbait they get. So very, very careful. That's why the real estate agent IDX is accurate. The last thing you want to do is get your hopes up or be late to seeing something. So number one, in home searches, right? You want to make sure you deal with a real estate agent's IDX because they're the most accurate. If you talk to a realtor, hey, I'm not ready to buy yet, but I want to go on your IDX because I want to see accurate homes. I don't want to see these woulda, coulda, shoulda, but didn't, right? Number one. Number two, have a broader search. Some people are so, I need this area, I need this area, I need this area. You're missing out on properties. I'm telling you right now, fam, most people who find properties are not going to be in the exact area they started in. So be open-minded so you can see more homes. The third thing, remove the feature. If you put swimming pool, you're only going to see swimming pools. You put fireplace, you're only going to see fireplace. You're only going to see fireplace. What happens if you find your dream home, but it doesn't have a fireplace, but you missed out on it because you clicked fireplace? So those are the 3 tips after you find your agent, right? After you decide the type of agent, you find your agent, you interview them, you understand commissions is your home search. Make sure you use a realtor's home search. Make sure you have a broader search. And last but not least, leave the features off of it so you don't miss out on something, right? You don't want to miss out on something because you clicked the feature or you forgot to unclick it, okay? So that right there is the phase 2 of finding the agent. And I know a lot of you guys, one last thing, a lot of you guys always run into this, right? You start contemplating. Should you use the seller's agent to represent you or should you use your own buyer's agent, right? Especially for new construction, renovated properties, short sales, traditional sale. And this is just my opinion. I know some seller agents, oh, you're messing up my game. I'm not gonna get paid. Just my opinion. When you go with new construction or renovation or short sale, right? They work for the builder, they work for the investor, or they work for the bank. Trust me, if you don't buy, someone else is gonna buy. They're still gonna make their commission, and that commission is locked in. Their loyalty goes to them. What happens if the home doesn't appraise? They're gonna force you to come in with a different. What happens if they're closing late? They're gonna ask you to extend. But if you're not late, but if you're late, they're gonna press you to pay the penalty. Remember, they're only representing you because you want to buy the house, but they first represent the seller, especially on traditional right now, right? If the house comes in short, which most likely is coming in short, they're not negotiating for you. You think they want to make the seller angry? The seller will fire them in a heartbeat, and that paycheck is guaranteed. The last thing they want to do is mess with that paycheck. Now, fam, I release you. I release you to phase 3, right? The house hunt. Today we graduated from phase 2, which is how to find a real estate agent. If you haven't gone through phase 1, you need to pump your brakes on phase 2. Go through phase 1 first. If you haven't watched it, it's on my Facebook, right? Phase 1, definitely watch phase 1, watch phase 2 again. 2 weeks, we're going to go through phase 3, the house hunting. This is where it's going to get fun. All right, guys? Hopefully you enjoy the content. If I brought you value, do me a favor. Hit the like. If I brought you a lot of value, hit the share. Don't forget to tag somebody, all right? Again, thank you so much for watching our show. If you have any challenges or concerns regarding what's a mortgage, call me 714-332-2526.